week of October 23rd, 2022. That's right, we've moved the forecast back from Monday to Sunday. Since I record these usually on Friday and post them on Saturday, let's just start on Sunday. It makes perfect sense. And stay tuned to the end of this broadcast for a special announcement. Don't skip to the end, though. Okay, so this week coming up is a very, very busy week in the sky, and I think it'll be a pretty busy week down here as well. Here's your little synopsis of the week. You may feel impelled to act, and yet you may feel that you are kind of mired in your movement. It could be a sense of hitting a wall. It could be a sense of just being unable to get traction. I think at worst, not for you and me, but for other people, it could be like one of those dreams where you're running and you're chased by the monster and you're running and running, but you're not really making any progress. Could feel a bit like that. We have very scorpionic weather coming up this week. We have, first of all, we'll start the week on Sunday with the Sun and Venus both going into Scorpio. What a situation this is. This is almost the background to everything, but Venus has been the morning star for quite some time. As the morning star, not quite the same feel as Venus as the evening star. The evening star is the goddess of love. It is all about beauty and decorum and all of those things. The morning star, a little bit more different, often considered to be a bit of a harbinger of war. It's a little bit more of a bellicocious placement for Venus. Now, she's been the morning star while she was in her home sign of Libra, where she's like very happy, except for the fact that she's the morning star. She's rising ahead of the sun. The Sun and Venus get together on this weekend, and then the Sun passes, Venus passes the Sun in the zodiac, and so we'll start, you can't see her just yet, but we'll start to rise as the evening star. She's back where she feels most comfortable, yeah, except for the fact that she leaves Libra on Sunday. No sooner did she become the evening star, she leaves Libra and goes into Scorpio. Now, Libra is a sign of beauty and graciousness, where Venus is very happy, but she lives next door to Scorpio, and those neighbors are not to her liking. A little bit too loud, a little bit too raucous, a little bit, maybe a little scary, and what is that smell coming from over there? So she's got to wade into those dark waters, just gets into where she wants to be with regard to her placement to the sun, and she's then into Scorpio. This is one of the things that suggests the intensity of this week. The sun moving into Scorpio. The sun moves into Scorpio every year around this time, as does Venus, but it adds to the intensity, especially because no sooner do they get into the sign than, while still very close together, there is a solar eclipse at only 2 degrees of Scorpio, but that's on Tuesday. This is where we get the intensity from this week. Now, why would you feel mired? Because even before anything else happens, at the very, very beginning of the week on Sunday, Saturn stations to go direct. That's good news, you say. Yeah, but Saturn stations, the entire time around a Saturn station has a kind of heavy sort of energy, very work-oriented, very much about responsibilities, could really slow you down. Saturn stations could be a bit, that's the hitting a wall feeling. Speaking of which, not saying nothing, but last week, poor Liz Truss, she lost her job after only 6 weeks. She had to resign. That happened right after the Sun and Venus squared Pluto right before the Saturn station. Very dramatic example of that sort of hitting a wall type of thing. There's tension, and you have to account for yourself, and if you can't. So we're going to have more of that energy as we begin the week, okay? So they have that Saturn station energy right there. We're also feeling a little bit mired because it is the new moon. New moons are always times when things get a little bit dragged down. It's not a high energy time because the moon and the sun are right together, and so we have no illumination from the moon. So it's the usual new moon feeling. Of course, now the moon is in Scorpio. This is a new moon in Scorpio. It's extra drawn inwards. So Saturn station, new moon, solar eclipse in Scorpio. And then at the end of the week, on Saturday, October 30th, we have on Sunday, October 30th, but we'll be feeling it. Well, we'll be feeling it all week long. Mars stations to go retrograde, and Mars is our general energy. You should watch the video. Go to the Integral Astrology channel and find the video on Mars retrograde and watch it. And if you've watched it already, watch it again because it's retrograde. You do things over. Anyway, Mars retrograde pulls our energy backwards, but it also pushes our internal desire for movement forward. Mars is very bright in the sky. If you get a chance to go out and take a look at Mars in the night sky, it's really blazing out there, big red disk out there. That would be very impressive. And we feel that red hot energy internally. But Mars likes to push forward. Mars especially likes to push forward. Of all the retrogrades, Mars can be the toughest because Mars is a forward-moving arrow and does not like to be pulled backwards, as he will be until January 12th. So we have this energy of let's go forward as an internal drive, very likely having to move on some things because the eclipse can give us issues to be dealt with. And yet we have the Saturn station, we have the new moon eclipse, and we also have Mars going retrograde. It's quite a mix of things going on there that will, as I said, push us forward while at the same time draw us backwards. Now, here's another thing that's happening on Sunday. Juno, the partnership asteroid, is stationing to go direct after retrograding. She's in Pisces and she is going to station to go direct. That would seemingly indicate a good time to go forward with relationship matters. And indeed, things that have been a little stuck in that department, maybe, assuming that Saturn and the eclipse and Mars miss you, maybe that would be an okay thing. But Juno will go on to trine Venus during the week. We'll trine Venus on Saturday, so figure Friday, Saturday. It's nice when you have these two things on the same page. Venus, what you want, what you desire. Juno, what you got. And they're relating to each other. But of course, Venus will be in Scorpio where she's not so happy. So we have this kind of push-pull energy there, and it's going to flow into relationships. It's almost like, yeah, you can do this if you can figure out how, but it's going to require an internal adjustment. And I would say that, even things that are going well are going to be going slowly in the area of relationship as this unfolds. So everything else is just kind of pressured but mired, not able to work to go forward quite the way you'd like. Relationships perhaps can go forward, but will require a considerable degree of adjustment. Much, much better for existing and returning relationships, by the way, than for new ones, because you still have to deal with Mars's retrograde, which will, well, what are you going to do? I wouldn't put things off or anything like that just because of the planets, but you have to account for a little bit of pushback from the planets when things are not moving the way they want them to. And the way they want them to this week is not very much at all. Is it going to be a quiet week? I don't think so. It's never really a quiet week. It's not. Potentially, it is a little bit less active than last week, but we're likely to see more of the same. Last week we had, once again, the markets are really all over the place. That had to do with Pluto station, the moon, the Pluto stationing on the US Pluto and so on. So there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff going on that makes the financial picture very, very volatile through November. But we'll talk about that in the November forecast, actually through December. But we'll talk about that in the November forecast. Now, there's the special announcement that I was mentioning. Next Saturday, October 29th at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. Gets up at 8:30 a.m. And then at 4:30, England, Ireland, and 5:30, if you're in Amsterdam or something like that, PM that is, I'll be doing live again the forecast for November. I think that's a good compromise because the monthly forecasts never get the viewers that the weekly forecasts get. So we might as well just sort of bundle that all together and give that a try. It'll be a good time to do that. It won't be a void, of course, moon like last time. I'm a little bit more feeling that should be the thing to do. Also, Sunday, every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern time, not 11:30 a.m. on Saturday. That's me. At 11 a.m. Eastern on Sundays, Adam Bernstein over on the Medium channel will be giving you the weekly tarot forecast and various advice of the spiritual and practical nature that Adam is so great for. So be sure to check that out. So you kind of want to move forward. It's kind of hard to do. You have to have patience. And with Mars slowing down to retrograde, patience is going to be at a premium. People are not going to be feeling patient. This is an impatient kind of energy, and it's likely to come out if you can't make progress. You know, if you're stuck in traffic and you can't go forward, which is what you really want to do, you're liable to take it out in, you know, the form of, you know, giving the finger to the guy who's like just driving the car next to you for some reason. You know, they got too close, or they sort of cut you off or something like that. It's that sort of feeling that is liable to be sort of infecting us as the week goes on. Not you and me. We're not going to make those mistakes, but some folks will, and we're going to want to watch out for them. There you go. There's your forecast. I'll see you maybe Saturday, and certainly I will see you for the forecast next week. Bye.